The streets of Capernaum were alive with the sound of traders and townsfolk. Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, made his way through the marketplace. The collector asked,
"Does your teacher pay the temple tax?"
Peter replied.
Yes, of course he does.
Satisfied, the collector moved on, leaving Peter deep in thought. Peter wondered as he made his way to Jesus.
How will we pay the tax?
Peter found Jesus inside, calmly teaching the others. Peter said,
Lord, the temple tax collectors are asking if you pay the tax.
What do you think, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth collect duty and taxes?
Peter answered.
From others, not their own children.
Then the children are exempt, but so we do not offend them. Go to the sea. Cast a line, take the first fish you catch, and open its mouth. You will find a coin there.
Peter obeyed, though he marveled at the unusual instruction. Jesus continued teaching, reminding the others of God's abundant provision. The sea shimmered under the morning light as Peter prepared to fish. Peter wondered aloud.
Could it really happen as Jesus said?
Minutes passed, and Peter waited patiently, trusting in Jesus' words. Suddenly the line jerked, and Peter quickly reeled it in. Peter carefully examined the fish, his heart racing with anticipation. Inside, just as Jesus said, was a gleaming coin, exactly what was needed to pay the temple tax. Peter exclaimed in awe.
It's true! Jesus' words never fail! Thank you, Lord, for your faithfulness and provision.
With a renewed sense of wonder, Peter set off to fulfill his task. Peter reflected on how Jesus' provision always arrived in the most extraordinary ways. The sights and sounds of the town barely registered as Peter's heart overflowed with joy. The tax collector stood waiting, unaware of the miracle that had unfolded. Peter said confidently,
Here is the tax for myself and my master.
The collector accepted the payment without question. Peter returned to the house, eager to share what had happened.
Welcome back, Simon. Was it as I said?
Jesus asked knowingly.
Exactly as you said, Lord, the coin was in the fish's mouth.
The disciples murmured among themselves, marveling at the miracle. This is a reminder that God's provision comes in His time and His way. In a church in Abuja, members of a local community came together to discuss their struggles.
This month has been the hardest yet. The rising costs make it difficult to feed my family.
Sometimes I feel like giving up. It's hard to trust that God sees our needs.
The story of Jesus paying the temple tax reminds us that God's provision can come in unexpected ways. Just as Peter trusted Jesus' instructions, we too must trust that God sees and hears our prayers. The room grew quiet as the group reflected on the story of God's faithfulness. Faith doesn't mean waiting idly. It means praying while doing our best with what we have. Members of the group began sharing practical tips and encouraging words. The pastor led the group in a heartfelt prayer for provision.